The world stood still as Malaysia mourned the tragic death of the son of its beloved king. It was a story that gripped the nation, a young life full of promise, cut short by a battle against cancer. Today, we look back at his life, his legacy, and the deep sorrow felt across the country as the royal family said goodbye to their precious son. His death was not just the passing of a young royal, but the loss of a future leader who had inspired hope in so many. His story is one of privilege, but also great personal challenges, showing us the very human side of royalty. Early life of the prince. Born into one of Malaysia's most prestigious families, the prince was the son of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, the King of Malaysia. His birth marked the continuation of the royal lineage, a symbol of hope and strength for the nation. From a young age, he was seen as a symbol of stability and continuity within the royal family. But beyond the ceremonial duties, he was a person of great depth. He excelled academically and was known for his curiosity about the world. His education took him across the globe, studying in prestigious institutions, where he not only learned about statecraft, but developed a deep appreciation for the challenges facing the world. Despite his royal status, he was known for his humility. Friends and acquaintances often described him as kind, approachable, and eager to make a difference in the world. He worked closely with charities, focusing on issues like poverty, education, and youth empowerment. He wanted to use his platform to uplift those who were less fortunate. His compassion was deeply admired by the people, and it was clear that he was preparing to one day take on greater responsibilities within the royal family. The diagnosis: a battle against cancer. In the midst of what seemed like a perfect life, the prince was faced with a devastating diagnosis: cancer. It was a rare and aggressive form of the disease, one that would challenge even the strongest of wills. The royal family chose to keep the illness private at first, dealing with the emotional toll behind closed doors. He fought in silence, undergoing treatment both in Malaysia and abroad. Friends and family were by his side, but the burden of his condition weighed heavily on him. Despite the illness, the prince remained committed to his duties. He made fewer public appearances, but when he did, he always showed strength, never allowing his condition to be the focus. Those close to him admired his bravery. Cancer is a disease that affects not just the body, but the mind and spirit. It is a battle that requires immense courage, and the prince showed that every day. He never wanted to be seen as a victim, even as his condition worsened. His family remained hopeful, seeking treatments from top specialists around the world. They explored every possible avenue, but despite their efforts, the cancer was relentless. The nation's reaction and the announcement. As the months passed, speculation about the prince's health grew, and finally, the royal family made the heart-wrenching announcement. Their son had passed away. He had spent his final days surrounded by loved ones, but the battle was lost. The news of his death shook the nation. He was a symbol of hope, a beloved member of the royal family who had touched the hearts of many. Malaysia mourned as one. People from all walks of life, from politicians to ordinary citizens, expressed their grief and offered condolences to the royal family. The loss felt personal for many, as the prince had been a figure of inspiration. In a time of division and uncertainty, he had been a unifying presence, someone people could look up to, and now he was gone, leaving behind a void in the hearts of the people. The funeral, a royal farewell. The day of the prince's funeral was a solemn one. Thousands lined the streets, many holding photos of the prince or flowers as they watched the royal procession pass. The ceremony was filled with deep emotions as the royal family, visibly heartbroken, said their final goodbyes. The funeral was attended by dignitaries from around the world, but what stood out most was the overwhelming presence of ordinary Malaysians who came to honor their prince. Many shared stories of how the prince had touched their lives, whether through his charity work or his public speeches that often focused on unity and hope. As his body was laid to rest, there was a palpable sense of grief, but also gratitude for the life he had lived and the impact he had made in such a short time. Legacy and reflection. In the wake of his death, The royal family set up foundations in his name, continuing the work that had meant so much to him. His legacy of compassion and service lives on, with programs that support education and healthcare for the less fortunate. His memory also remains a source of strength for his family. The king and queen have spoken publicly about the deep pain of losing a child, but they also emphasized the importance of carrying on his mission. The prince's story, while tragic, serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of using one's influence for good. For the people of Malaysia, the prince's legacy is one of unity. Even in death, he has continued to inspire a sense of national pride and collective hope. His story will be remembered for generations to come. The death of the Malaysian king's son was a loss not just for his family, but for the entire nation. His life was one of privilege, but also of purpose. His fight against cancer was marked by courage and dignity, and his legacy will live on in the hearts of the people he touched. As Malaysia continues to mourn, it also honors his memory by upholding the values he stood for: compassion, service, and unity. Though he is gone, his spirit will continue to guide and inspire the country for many years to come.